human beings are walkers by nature. Living in the European capital of hikers, we have spent years seeing thousands of pilgrims who decide to take the path that takes them to the end of the earth. We have always wondered what their reasons for getting into this journey are. The answer can only be found along the trails. So we will travel the greatest walking routes in the world, searching for the soul of humanity, which we belong to. The Great Way. Chapter 3, Kumano Kodo, Japan.
We just landed in the country of the rising sun to continue our trip around the world through the most amazing hiking routes on the planet. In Japan, we're going to hike the Kumano Kodo, an ancient network of trails that runs through the mountains of the key peninsula in which hundreds of temples and volcanic hot springs await us. Kumano Kodo is a diverse route with a mixture of unpaved, uneven trails, ancient cobblestone and stairs, and roads through villages. It is a long trip till we reach this remote rural area, but we're sure that the beauty of this trail, especially now in autumn, will be worth it.
The gateway to Japan is Tokyo, one of the first cities to ally itself with technology and architecture to look towards the future. At night, skyscrapers and billboards are illuminated with hundreds of colors that create an unfathomable, beautiful, and overwhelming picture in the same breath. Tokyo is one of the two sides of Japan, that of big, overcrowded cities in which both work and leisure flow at breakneck speed. Those who visit can end up totally in love with it, or as lost as the leading characters in Lost in Translation in Sofia Coppola's film. The other side of Japan is found by leaving the big city behind to discover the spiritual origins of its people with an open mind, to experience ways of understanding life that are as traditional as they are fascinating.
We have arranged a meeting point with our guides and translators at the Wakayama train station, 2 hours from the starting point of the trek. This route can be done on your own, but for those who want to reach out to the locals like us, it is essential to have them since most people here only speak Japanese. We'll hike the Nakahechi route, also known as the Imperial Route, the busiest of the Kumano Kodo trails. This is not a very physically taxing trek, as it is done in short stages in only 4 hours of hiking a day. This will help us to take it easy, having enough time to learn more about the traditions of this Japan, so different from the one of the big cities.
My name is Teresa. I'm from Sydney, Australia, and I'm a finance manager at a real estate property development company. I decided to walk the Kumano Kodo Trail after seeing pictures of it on Google, and after talking about it with several friends who've actually been on the trail. They've enjoyed it a lot, so I thought now it's time for a break from work, so let's get in touch with nature. I'll be in Japan for 2 weeks in total. I've already spent about 3 days in Osaka. I'll spend 5 days on the Kumano Kodo Trail and then 5 days in Kyoto. Life is just too hectic. You have to meet deadlines, you have to meet people, you have to do things for other people, and really when you're on a trail like the Kumano Kodo Trail, it's just you. It's just you and what's on your backpack and where you need to go next.
My name is Kenji Najima. Occupation is artist. 伊勢路と中平路を通ってだいたい220キロぐらいだと思います。
Kumano's association with healing and purification is profound. In the past, the road to Kumano was an isolated trail leading through extreme wilderness environments with dangerous river crossings and severe weather. So pilgrims would ritually die, enter the land of the dead, be purified, healed, saved, and then be reborn into the living world. More than 70% of the Japanese territory is made up of mountains, as if nature was looking for a way to collect rainwater and lead it to the rice paddies. The only grain capable of enduring being submerged for days in a continuous ritual of purification, which in the sacred lands of Kumano makes more sense than anywhere else.
Purifying yourself is a sign of respect to the Shinto gods. That's why along the way, we will find fountains in which to perform the tamizu, a ritual that consists of rising our hands and mouth, symbolically removing our impurities.
So to prepare for the Kumano Kodo Trail, I actually didn't do much. I do keep fit, generally speaking, in Sydney, Australia, a bit more cardio work. So I just decided to pack my bags and go. I booked about a month ago and I was super excited. It was just beautiful and hasn't disappointed. It's absolutely gorgeous. My family and friends had mixed reactions when I said I was coming alone. Half of them have already been to Japan, so they know how safe it is and how friendly people are, so they were absolutely okay with it. A few more of them haven't been, but they're used to me kind of walking alone. I did the Inca Trail, Machu Picchu earlier this year, alone as well. So they were supportive.
My name is Adrienne Foreman, and I'm from Austin, Texas. I, for a full-time job, run a marketing company, but as a part-time job, I teach at a circus school. So we are in Japan just for vacation, and we're spending quite a bit of time in the cities, so Osaka and Kyoto primarily. And I wanted to come on the Kumano Kodo because I wanted to spend time outside of the cities, and I love nature. I always try to incorporate some kind of nature into my vacations, and so I was excited to go somewhere where I could see the landscape, the mountains, and learn a little bit about the history.
The Kumano Kodo Way is twinned with the European Camino de Santiago. They both have been declared World Heritage Sites, and the two of them use stamps as a control system for passage. The pilgrims who manage to complete these two ways, one to the rising sun and the other to the setting sun, receive a certificate called Dual Pilgrims.
人々は熊野によみがえりと癒しを求めて、参ってきました。でそれは、元は上皇貴族という位の高い人が熊野を訪れたんですけども、それが庶民に、流行して庶民がこの熊野を目指しました。
It seems magical to us to walk among cedars, leaving us surprised by the small shrines that guide and protect the pilgrims. Every time we arrive at one of them, after making a voluntary offering, we ring the bell to warn the gods of our presence, and we bow down to them. The Kumano is full of symbols and rituals that attract the attention of foreigners, but in reality, these traditions are common in daily life in the Japanese culture, such as going to a traditional tea house to rest and talk with the neighbors. The tea ceremony captures all the essential elements of Japanese philosophy, combining the ideas of harmony with people and nature, respect for others, purity of heart, and the tranquility. Despite the language barrier, here they always gift us with a smile and make innumerable gestures of respect and recognition to all of us who trek the way.
Reach out your hand, and I'll give you mine.
Right before we actually started walking on the Kumano Kodo, we were in a bus station at the very first city that actually preps you for the Kumano Kodo pilgrimage. A gentleman stopped us at the bus station and asked where we were from, and we told him we were from the United States. And he asked us a few questions, where in the United States, and we chatted for just a few minutes, and he said, thank you, and we said goodbye. And then like 2 or 3 minutes later, while we're on the bus, he sneaks over through a window and says he loves the USA, and he gives us a present of crackers and fish snacks.
I wasn't feeling too well yesterday, so that was not very good. But I had the most lovely rest at Guest House Mui, and I absolutely recommend them. They had homemade meals, 2 little goats as well, and who are adorable, Haru and Rain. So that was actually a very special moment for me. The generosity and hospitality was unbeatable. Walking the Kumano Kodo is very special. You do feel lost in nature. At times it's a very unpaved road. You're supported by tree roots, and it makes you really understand that you need to be grounded with the earth and be one with nature. I think it's a very spiritual sort of place to be at. It's a journey.
昔日本列島ができる時に火山活動があって、でその火山活動の残っているもの、大きな岩であったり大きな川であったり森であったり、そういうものを人々は神として崇めました。でその後仏教が伝来をして神様も仏様も大切にするという信仰です。日本人独特のものです。
It is said that in the past, it was possible to get from the ancient capital of Kyoto to here without getting lost, thanks to the ojis, the small shrines or altars scattered along the route. Because here, walking is not only a means to reach the great temples, but above all, a way of worshiping nature.
ここのホテルをさせてもらうことになりました。今13年目に入ってます。なんかすごいやっぱり最初はね、どういうところかなっていうところから入ってです。素晴らしいところです。でたくさんの人がこのホテルに来てくれて、いろんな方と出会わせてもらって、毎日刺激いっぱいのところです。毎日刺激をもらって本当に楽しく過ごさせてもらってます。
Me llamo Jan. Nosotros estábamos en Granada. Me gusta mucho flamenco. ¿Sí? Por eso yo estudié ahí de guitarra, flamenco un poco, ¿no? Y ella también antes bailaba.
No, para...
Ahora no, ahora no.
やっぱり私も一緒で人がいい。 あとこの素晴らしい場所でなんかスピリチュアルを感じながら毎日なんかいろんなハプニングも起こりますけど、すごいなんかこういうところで働けるっていうのがなんかすごい嬉しいし、夕方に見える霧で朝に見える雲海はとても素敵で、もう本当にこの魅力は毎日感じて素晴らしいところだと思います。
この熊野古道は、よみがえりの地と言われているところで、私たちもよみがえったような気持ちでいっぱいです。
My name is Angie, so I am not working right now. I'm taking a break, and that's also the reason why I take some time to come walk the Kumano Kodo Trail. I'm working in Singapore. I'm originally from Malaysia. I was planning a trip in Japan. I was looking up on where to go, what to do, and Kumano Kodo came out in my research in Wakayama Prefecture. So I decided to take some time, a longer break basically, to do the trail walk. So I am walking a 5-day trail. The total is over 65 kilometers. This is my third day today, but because of the trail, so I took a shorter walk today. I did some preparation, but most of my preparation are really, this is actually my first hike. So I did a lot of preparation on my backpack to make sure that my backpack are not too heavy for 5 days. What I have in my bag is my daily essential, basically my clothing, very important, my toiletry, and I did some training, but because I was finishing work, so I didn't have enough time. So I wish I could do more training. It wasn't that difficult. I had to slow down, but it wasn't that difficult. But going uphill in a rainy day was slightly, yes, a bit more challenging.
The most valuable thing in my backpack would be my GoPro that my sister gave me for my birthday. So I need to show her the footage when I get back. So I specifically packed a smaller backpack for the Kumano Kodo Trail, only with my change of clothing and obviously the toiletry bag and obviously a lot of electronics to capture all the footage, and a water bottle. Super important, absolutely.
So to prepare for the Kumano Kodo walk, the only physical preparation that I did was a little bit of practicing on hills, because where I'm from, it is very, very flat, and so I'm used to walking a lot, but not up and down. So I did a little preparation. Most of my preparation was planning and organization. I was a little nervous about, will I know where I'm going? How well is it marked? What's the route that I'm going to take? So a lot of my prep was just kind of getting used to that, so I'd be a little bit more comfortable while I was here.
The worst of walking the Kumano Kodo is the uphill. That's always a little bit tough. In those hard moments, I usually think, one foot in front of the other. You can do this. Go, Teresa. And so that's how you go all the way up. That's what I think about. But the best is when you get to the top and you see how far you've walked. So it's that special feeling inside.
We like to get up very early to try to reach the summit by dawn. Along the trail, most of the time you walk among large trees, so reaching the peaks with a clear view is a double portion of happiness.
Best friend from high school, lost a leg to an IED, come home to his wife and baby, hung himself with a dog leash. Well, I've heard it say.
Along the way, it's not difficult to find somewhere to rest and eat something. But even so, most of the hikers opt for the Kodo Bento, carefully prepared homemade food packages, which contain several portions of rice wrapped in mustard greens and umeboshi, a pickled fruit similar to plums that is the specialty of the region.
For the last cause, for the last
The best thing in this walk is really admiring the nature, is be immersed and listen to the sound of the mountain, the weather, the people, paying attention to people around you. Really, when I walk, it's really just immersing in the nature. So I just feel the moment, basically. What's most important to me, and I think the highlight is really looking forward to see all three key temples in this area.
The main places of worship in Kumano are the three grand shrines, Hongu, Hayatama, and Nachi, that share the same deities, each enshrining the other gods. The Hongu shrine is not the typical Japanese red temple, but reaching it with the morning light, listening to the sound of the bells and smelling the perfumes of incense makes us feel that this place is full of mystery.
The Hongu shrine used to be in a different location in a nearby area, but it was flooded by the Kumano River. The largest torii in the world was built on the old site. The most common materials for a torii are wood and stone, but the sheer size of this one made that impossible, so it's built of 172 tons of steel. Torii are gates found in all temples in Japan and serve to mark the division between the secular world and the spiritual world. That's why the purification fountains are almost always very close to them.
Life is living in the moment. I think doing the Kumano Kodo was something I wanted to do to escape from thinking too much. Back at work with obligations. Being on the Kumano Kodo, happiness is being present on the trail and just walking to your next destination.
It's easy to lose track of time in Kumano. During the route, we met pilgrims who stopped to draw, play an instrument, or write messages to the deities on the wooden votive tablets that flood the shrines. The ambiance in Kumano is perfect to get away from social media a bit and learn to live in the moment.
The monks of Kumano Hongu Taisha believe that in these digital times, it is important to slow down and write your feelings. It's been a long time since we sent a postcard, but here we decided to turn off our cell phones and become analog beings for the rest of the trail. That way, it will be much easier for us to watch out for the messages that the gods are sending us, according to the legend, through the Yatagarasu, a three-legged messenger crow who helped the first emperor of Japan navigate the impenetrable mountains to this place, and that is the Kumano symbol.
On the Kumano Kodo, there was a little viewpoint turnoff, and so we hiked up it, and it's kind of high on the mountain, and it overlooks the Hongo Taisha gate in the distance. And so it's this huge gate, but looks really small from where we were high up, and the mountains are all above it. And we sat just on the ground and had our bento lunches and looked at the view, and there was a black kite flying above, and it was gorgeous. Yeah, it was beautiful.
I make an effort every night when I finish my trail. I do some writing for my daily reflection, and also I make sure I make a call back home to my parents. Yeah. Next, I'm going to walk to the Torii Gate, catch some lunch, and visit the onsen after this.
Oh, sometimes a life collides and hurts, and suddenly we're treated like dirt. All these grudges all now fade.
On the Kumano Kodo, you walk for hours, and it can be really hard on your knees, on your hips, on your back. And so it's really nice at the end of the night to soak in the onsen, really hot water. It relaxes you. I've actually had a foot injury while I've been here that I've been a little nervous about walking the Kumano Kodo, but because I've been able to soak at night and really relax in the hot water, it's actually doing great. Last night we actually stayed in Kauai Onsen, which is an onsen town. It's on a hot spring river, and the locals and visitors during certain times of year go into the river and dig essentially a little tub and soak in the hot water from the natural springs.
Traditional onsens are an essential part of the experience of hiking the Kumano Kodo. To enter into these hot springs, we follow a protocol that is almost a ritual. Women and men bathe separately in group pools because you have to enter completely naked, something that some tourists find a bit shocking the first few times.
The most famous hot springs are those of the Yunomine Onsen village, which have been in use for more than 2,000 years. Among them is the small Tsuboyu, the only pool for individual use or couples in this place, which is why it's in high demand. This hot spring is one of the oldest in Japan and has been declared a World Heritage Site.
この熊野の温泉のそもそもの意味は湯ごりと言いまして、神様にお参りする前に温泉を浴びて体を清める、そういうものでありました。今は観光客が温泉に入ることによって疲れを癒す、そういうところです。特にこの熊野の温泉の泉質は日本でも有数の泉質、しかもかけ流しの湯ということで、日本の観光客だけでなしに今は海外のお客様もすごくいい温泉ということで楽しんでいただいてます。
On the Kumano Kodo, there's a number of different hotel styles. Ryokans are a little bit more traditional. They usually only have Japanese rooms. Pensions have Western style rooms, but our pension that we were staying at had 2 private onsens from the spring water that we could actually soak in. That was great.
There are few accommodations that offer private onsens. They are perfect for couples or families, as it is the only way to share the bath without being separated by gender. After bathing, people usually wear yukata, a very comfortable garment that is used both in the room and in the common areas and the restaurant of the ryokans, the traditional Japanese inns.
When I told my friends and family that I was coming on the Kumano Kodo and doing the walk through the mountains between hotels, they, I think, were mostly pleasantly surprised about how supported the walk is from the villages and from the country of Japan and the areas around here. Because they help you with lunch boxes, they help you with luggage, they help you with the organizing of the trip. And so my friends were really excited because of how kind of easy it was compared to some other hikes and other long walks that we've done in different countries.
Unlike other hiking routes that are more demanding and with much fewer commodities, the Kumano Kodo is more like a way of physical and inner healing. There's no single way of trekking, and it's worth the effort to try to find the one that best suits each person's preferences. Although in Kumano, there are also hikers who choose to do longer and more rugged routes.
2週間と1日、今日が14泊15日目です。私は三重にずっと住んでたんですけれども、熊野古道というのを歩いたことがなかったんです。で、ふとしたきっかけで熊野古道の魅力を紹介する本を読みまして、 一度歩いてみたいなと思いまして、で何年か読んでから過ぎたんですけど、機会がやってきたので歩くことにしました。私はちょうど50歳を超えたので、人生の節目を意識するようになりました。それで身近にある美しいもの、歴史のあるもの、みんなに守られてきたものというのを見つめてみたいと思いました。それと同時に自分の心も、見つめてみたいと思いました。
One of the oldest routes on this way avoided the highest mountains by following the course of the Kumano Gawa River. We want to know the two variants, so we have reserved one more day of our trip for a special stage, which can be done in a traditional Japanese boat. From what we've been told, this is one of the most beautiful experiences of the Kumano.
熊野の最も大切なものは熊野の大自然です。もちろん聖地としての、3つの大社と1つのお寺はありますけども、もともとそれが生まれた熊野の自然、滝であったり岩であったり森であったり川であったり、それがあってこその、熊野の信仰であるので、やはり熊野で一番大切なところは熊野の大自然。
Many of the tributaries of the Gawa River are hot springs, so it has a particular turquoise color. The Kumano Kodo cannot be understood without water as a purifying element. That's why the Gawa River is considered the sacred river of the region.
Walking the Kumano Kodo has been absolutely worth it. We're only doing a short piece, so a 3-day hike essentially, and I've already thought and talked a little bit about, especially since we have a little bit more experience and know kind of the organization, that it would be great to do it again. The one that we did, because I just wasn't aware. I followed kind of the recommended 3-day guide, and so had the kind of normal stops they recommended, and I would love to do it a little bit more where homemade, where I sat and planned where I was going and how I was walking, and do it for longer as well. It's been great.
On the 4th day of the route, we arrived at the second of the grand shrines, Hayatama Taisha, located at the mouth of the Kumano River. The Nagi no Ki is venerated here, a sacred tree that is over 800 years old. The leaves were used as an amulet, and it is a symbol of the Kumano faith. It is said that devout believers can see messages from the deities on their leaves. This temple is very close to the city of Shingu, but even so, the omnipresent silence inside the temple in Kumano is sustained, which is only broken for chants and prayers.
天の原にかむずまりますメラがむつかむろぎかむろみのみこともちておよろずの神たちをかむつどえに集えたまいたまかりにはかりたましてあがすね今のみことは豊橋原のみずほの国を靖国と平ら福白示しと豊さし祭りきかくよさし祭りしよもの国中と大山と日高見の国を靖国と定め祭り
I wouldn't say the Kumano Kodo has necessarily changed me, but what I would say is that It has been a few years since I've been traveling and doing similar hikes like this, where we combine going to a new country and a new place with some kind of hike or outside activity like scuba diving, so either in the ocean or on land. And welcoming that into my life, even though this isn't the first one for me to do, has changed my life. It helps me relax from the grind of the day-to-day, and it also reminds me how many beautiful points there are on Earth, how different everything looks, but also kind of reminds you of the other things you've done. It has changed my life for the better to take this into my life, hikes and outdoor adventures.
I think the Kumano Kodo has not changed, but cemented my understanding that we need to be really understanding who we are. And to do that, sometimes you need to face a little life's difficulties, the physical over the mental over the physical. So I think you are stronger than you think you are, and your body is much stronger than you think you are.
Mount Gongen rises up behind the shrine and is part of the shrine grounds. The Hayatama Shrine has its origin in the worship of a giant rock located at the top of the mountain, which is accessed through a steep staircase of more than 500 steps. Here, hundreds of men dressed in white descend really fast, carrying flaming torches in a night fire festival that seems the arrival of a great fiery dragon. At the top of the mountain, there's a small shrine next to the rock on which it's believed that the deities set foot to descend to the earth. Near the giant rock, fragments of a religious bronze bell from the 3rd century have been unearthed, certifying the antiquity of the cult in this place.
From the top of this shrine, we can see the coastal city of Shinto. We'll go down there later on to walk to the fishing port of Katsura, which claims to be the best place in the world to eat fresh tuna.
最初は難しいことをいろいろ考えてたんですよ。人生は何ぞやとか。でも歩いてると本当にクタクタになるまで歩くから、だんだん忘れていってしまって考えていることとか。で無性に何か食べたいものが頭に入ってきたり、かつて聴いてた音楽が耳に流れてきたり、何か自分を見つめるというよりかは、何かそういう根源的なというか、ちょっと不思議な体験をしていました。
We asked our guide to take us to try the famous Katsura tuna, and ready to impress us, he took us to a restaurant whose menu is solely and exclusively tuna. The chef welcomed us, showing us the best pieces of tuna, and he won't let us leave until we taste all their specialties.
Boiled tuna, raw tuna, and fried tuna, and fin of the tuna, and the spine of the tuna.
So on the Kumano Kodo, we've been eating bento boxes for lunches, which have fish, rice, veggies. And then for dinner, they're usually at the ryokans or pensions that we are staying at. I do not eat meat, I only eat fish, and everybody's been really polite and great, and so I've been eating essentially fish, traditional dishes, and then for breakfasts, eggs, veggies, rice.
What I enjoy the most during the trail is really enjoying myself, fully participating in what the nature has for us. I don't have the worst or the best yet so far. I think I have been quite happy.
Happiness for me, I guess, is really twofold. One is an emotion that I feel where I wake up in the morning and I look forward to the day. I think about the grand things there are, and there's just this rush of pleasure that hopefully I feel, not every day, but on happy days. But I think happiness is also something that you build and manifest in your life, what you enjoy to do, what you want to work for, having purpose, having a mission or a goal that you nurture and grow. So I think happiness is kind of twofold, the thing you work towards, but then also just a raw emotion that you feel.
I'm barely getting by, got a heavy load, it's trying to break my mind. Can you tell me what you see? Maybe help me up this wall that's been blocking me. Hey, hey, getting closer every day.
Although there's no defined place to finish this trail, most pilgrims finish the route at the Kumano Nachi Taisha shrine, where one of the tallest waterfalls in Japan is located. In this place, there are different Shinto and Buddhist temples, including the striking three-story Seiganto-ji Pagoda.
There's an emptiness, oh, can you tell me what you know?
Every morning, a Shinto priest makes offerings at the foot of the sacred waterfall. It is said that whoever drinks this water prolongs their life for many years. In the ritual, first they bless us, and then an offering is made to the deity that inhabits this place in gratitude for having protected us along the way, also beseeching him to continue protecting us throughout our lives.
Even till I see myself where I need to be. This voice inside is my only guide. Gonna make sure I'm heard.
帰ってくれるというか、これから老境に入る入り口だと思っています。そう、何も考えてませんね。特に何かお願いするわけでもなく、あるとすればこれまで生きてきたことと今元気で生きていることの感謝ですね。職業は年金生活者です。72歳。
On the Kumano Kodo, I've been thinking a lot about how it's currently Thanksgiving in the United States, which is a holiday that's a little complicated because of the history, but a lot of modern, what we try to think about is thankfulness for friends and family and for things in our lives. And so I've been thinking about that along the pilgrimage. It also seems pretty timely, like that the Thanksgiving and the pilgrimage are happening at the same time. And so I've been thinking about my friends and family and how much I love them. And then I've also been, of course, thinking about respect for nature. It's been really clean and well kept and beautiful through the whole Kumano Kodo walk. And there's just this kind of natural love and respect that shines through the whole hike so far.
The Kumano Kodo ends without great celebrations, playing the gong that announces our arrival to the divinities, and stamping the credential for the last time that certifies that we have passed through the points indicated on the way. The important thing for the pilgrims who come here seeking healing and salvation is to have achieved the necessary harmony to be able to leave Kumano reborn.
そうですね。この歴史ある1000年以上続くお寺を守ると、また後世に伝えるというそういう使命感に駆られて僧侶になりました。そうですね。未来永劫に続く道であるかと思います。朝5時にお経をお唱えいたします。そして、この境内の掃除をします。そして、参拝者の対応をします。またお経をあげたりごまを炊いたりいたします。自然の 力によって心の身も心も清らかにする力がこの熊野地方ではあります。
The final highlight of our journey will be to attend an offering ceremony in the Kumano Nachi Taisha shrine, where one of the Mikos, the maidens of the Shinto shrines, participates.
こちらの熊野那智大社でお祭りしているのは熊野の神々のご中心になっているのがイザナミの御事をご中心にお祭りしております。やっぱりその、神様の前に進むということで、正常を第一とするので常にも手を洗うことによって、汚れを払って清い体になって神様の前にお参りするということですね。
Hiking doesn't always mean looking for great sporting challenges. In Japan, we've experienced another way of hiking, without the rush to get to a hostel or pitch a tent every day. The Kumano Kodo is a perfect way for those who in a few days want to know the spiritual origins of Japan and be connected with nature. For us, this has been another stage of our great way.
The great way in life is to find yourself, I think, who you are, and being on the Kumano Kodo definitely helps with reflection because you actually have time for yourself. I think finding yourself and being present in the moment.
Well, the great way for me is definitely travel and experiencing new and different things. I cannot say enough how travel is important to my life. We plan 2 vacations a year for 2 weeks each vacation, and I am incredibly privileged and grateful that I get to incorporate that into my life, and going to new countries, meeting new people, experiencing new cultures, and also seeing all of the different wildlife and landscapes that there are on Earth. I would say that's one of the most important things in my life and the great way.
The great way for me is enjoy every moment in the journey.
偉大な道。偉大な道か道か計り知れませんけれども、道は一歩からっていうことで、一歩足を出すっていうことですね。
One more stage of our journey through the great hiking routes of the world ends. The time has come to pick up the backpack to leave the country of the rising sun behind and continue our way in search of that soul of humanity that we are looking for.